This software is giving me a lot of
Woo!
issues.
We are live. Try to fix it. Yeah,
There you go.
perfect.
Fixed it. Okay, sorry about
Excellent.
that. We're having some technical issues, but we're good now.
Welcome, welcome,
Thank you.
welcome. Please introduce yourself. Today I am having a guest. She is a YouTuber who is helping and is promoting a movement for future influencers. Tell us
Mhm.
about your project,
Yeah.
Adriana.
So where do I even start? So kind of backtracking a bit. I'm actually a recent college graduate, so I'm 22 years old. And yeah, now I have my own business, and I help coaches and entrepreneurs and YouTubers actually spread their message into the world. And not only that, but actually going full time with their passion. So it's funny because you're probably wondering, how I got to this place. Um, You'll never guess what I
Yes,
studied
yes.
in college. In college, of all things, I actually studied marine biology because I love to travel, I love scuba diving, and it was just like a whole other world. So I studied marine biology, but with the pandemic, I couldn't travel. We couldn't even scuba dive because it wasn't safe to, put that stuff in our mouth. So I was like, well, I can't study marine biology, like I don't know what to do now. And it's funny, everything kind of happens for a reason. So that's kind of when I reconnected back with my natural entrepreneurial spirit, we can call it, because I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was in third grade. So I started my own little businesses at school. And yeah, I would make money.
Amazing.
Yeah, like,
Amazing. So that's the real story behind your love to what you are doing right now, which is helping people
mhm.
to start. How do you help? Tell us.
How do I help people? Yes.
Yes.
So whether people are, YouTubers who want to grow their business, or, entrepreneurs who want to establish their authority, or coaches who want to close more high ticket clients, I help them in that way. But the main thing I do is I help people who want to use the power of social media and content creation. So just to give you a sense of my process, okay, good, I have it here. I
Yes, please. Share.
bring people up this is my YouTube pyramid, I call it. So I made this myself. And to explain this really briefly, people come into
Yeah,
YouTube or
please.
social media, they want to make a difference, or they want to make money right away, or they want to grow an audience. But you must start from the bottom here and work your way up. So, set up your pages in a way that'll attract subscribers and views, learn how to create consistent content, and then naturally this will attract an audience. And once you have an audience, then you have people who you can sell your product or your service to help you make money and fill your cup first. That's really important. And then once you're at that place, then you can work to, create the change that you wish to see in the world. So I work with people who, have a purpose and who want to make a positive difference. So those are the type of people who I help. I don't just help anyone. They have to have that strong why and that strong reason for wanting to do it.
So you will help people like me.
Yeah, exactly. People like you, with a big mission, big
Thank you.
purpose, who want to help
Yes.
others. Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, with the process, you start helping people setting the stage, setting the structures of the business,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly. So I help people set up the structure. So even if they're brand new to the game, I'll help them actually construct their house. But I also work with people who've been in the game for a while and their house needs what I call renovations. So we'll fix that up, fix their messaging, give them clarity, and then, we could bring them to the next level. So yeah, it's not just beginners who I help. I help people at all different stages of their business journey.
Amazing. Thank
Mhm.
you. Ariane.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Ariana,
don't. Mhm.
Ariane.
Yeah. Like Ariana.
Ariane. So I post in the banner the picture of you graduating from Marina from biology. Are you thinking about going back when the pandemic finishes, or this is something you want to continue doing?
Mhm. Yeah,
How it
so
looks?
so the way I see it, because I definitely have two different career paths. I have the marine biology and I have this entrepreneurial one. I plan to actually bring them together. So in terms of marine biology, a big part of protecting the ocean is actually, taking sustainable business practices, because that's a really big key factor. So actually what I'm doing right now, I'm actually helping two business owners whose goal is to protect the ocean. So they do it in different ways. One of them raises funds and awareness for the ocean, and they take entrepreneurial approaches. So I help them run their business. And I also help another company whose mission is to help children by educating them. So I actually, I'll speak to children about marine biology, because, they're the change makers of tomorrow. You really gotta, teach the kids about it, because they're going to be the leaders. So I see the importance of both of those businesses. So in a way, I'm still working to protect the ocean, but I'm just not taking the scientific route. I'm more so taking the business and the media, because a lot of it is marketing, believe it or not, getting people aware.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So that's kind of what I do. But yeah, I definitely took a different route with the pandemic, but I'm kind of bringing the two routes together so that I can accomplish them both, because, who says you can't do two things at once and take different approaches to a mission? So that's what I'm doing now. And yeah, it's working. It's great. I'm making good success. So I like this route better. I'm more of an entrepreneur than a scientist.
Adriana, you are a Latina born in USA, right?
Yep, born in the US.
Yes. What message will you send to all the women, no Latinas, and around the world, all in general?
So all the Latinas?
But yes, all of them, about entrepreneurship and connecting with their purpose.
Yeah, so gosh, that's a lot, because there's so many Latinas around the world. And it's funny because I was reading some stats the other day. So there's a couple ones that really stand out. So one of them is in the United States, compared to men. So out of the dollar, women make 48 cents, whereas a man would make $1. So female Latinas make 50% less than white males in this country. And my message to those Latinas, well, in America, would be to, overcome that. Like, don't let that define your future, because just because that's a stat, that doesn't have to dictate your future. And if anything, that statistics should actually motivate you and drive you to prove it wrong, because, that shouldn't have anything on you. You shouldn't let that determine how much money you make. So prove that stat wrong. Go above and beyond and get to a point where you're actually making more than the average white male. And that's saying something. That's the underdog right there. That's being, in a way, it's like, what's the word? Rebellious, very ambitious. So that should drive you. Stuff like that should serve as your fuel. And not just stats like that, but there's other stats as well. Like Latinas are the most depressed. They're the most stressed out and anxious.
How come? Why do you think is that?
I think it relates a lot to, I know it relates a lot to history and just the way we've been treated. So to not dive too, we could really go into this topic, but essentially, like just the way we've been treated, traumas pass on from generation to generation. So, when the white settlers were taking Mexican land from Mexico, because a lot of the U.S. actually used to be Mexico. The white settlers came in, they took that land, and they didn't do it in a peaceful way. They were violent. They raped the woman. They killed their husbands. It was ridiculous. So then, they went back to Mexico, and those traumas passed down from generation to generation in various forms and ways. It's kind of in your genetic code. So I believe that a lot of it just has to do with the history and the way we've been treated. Same with the sexual assault, it comes from that as well. So, a lot of it is generational. It comes from trauma. So that's not to dive too much more into history. That's kind of like in a nutshell, like what it comes down to. But yeah.
Thank you. Is there something you want to share about your project, your business that is of interest for our audience?
Yeah, so with my business, when it comes to it, the thing that stands in most people's way when it comes to success, surprisingly, it's not creating videos or it's not clarifying your marketing message. It all comes down to the psychology. It's 80% psychology. So if you can master, your mindset and have a strong one and come into this game, then there's nothing stopping you, because you achieved all the success right there. So just by mastering your mindset, then you can succeed in this game. And anyone can. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to, be like pretty. You don't have to, have perfect speaking abilities. All you have to have is the desire to want to do something, and that's really all you need. And by that, that'll serve as your fuel. So that's really what it takes.
As Tony Robbins said, mindset is what separates the best from the
Yeah.
rest. Can you give us a tip to master the mindset game?
Master the mindset. Yeah. So a lot of it just comes down to imposter syndrome and caring what people think. So what I've found, because, when you get into YouTube, you're going to see a lot of people, there's mean people out there. They'll leave really mean comments, really rude comments. And that's really what brings down people's mindsets. That's what I found in almost all my clients when they start getting bad comments. But what I've discovered is that what that really comes down to is, it comes down, whoever left the comment, they're often like experiencing like pain in their life or some type of issue, and they're just taking it out on you, unfortunately. So when stuff like that happens, you need to realize it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the pains that they're experiencing. So if you can actually come at it with sympathy and understanding, like, oh, this person is hurting, then that'll really help you to kind of see it in a different light and realize that it's not about you. It's really about them. And
It's about them, right?
really about them. You have to see it that way and not take it personally. And it's funny because our brains do this thing where we get a lot, like I get a lot of positive comments, but say I get like one or two negative ones, like your brain will think about that more than once, and it'll focus on that 1 to 2% that was negative. But when that happens, my advice to other people is focus on the 98% of comments that were positive and encouraging. And then focus on that, and then kind of discard the negative ones. And yeah.
So people, don't focus on the haters. Focus on your job.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the things that make you the most, that you enjoy the most about working with YouTube or as YouTuber and helping people to master this skill?
Yeah, honestly, I love helping people get to where it is they want to be. I love celebrating people's wins, because, when it comes to this game, like what do you want to do the first time, like, you really succeed at something? Like, you want to share it with everybody. So I love celebrating with my clients when they have a big win. And I also enjoy being there for them when they're at their low, because what I've found is that a lot of people, they'll go into YouTube or even just entrepreneurship in general, and they'll kind of have this individualistic lone wolf mindset. So when they experience,
what's that?
It's like an individualistic mindset. So, they don't have a community of people. They're just kind of by themselves. So
Okay.
when they have like a failure or they're experiencing a low, then they don't have anyone to support them. So I love being that person for someone, where if they're experiencing a low, then I can motivate them to keep going and, to keep pushing and to keep trying to actually get them to where they want to be. So because I'm logical when it comes to my strategy, but I could also be there for someone emotionally and kind of nurture them when they need it. So that's kind of what I enjoy about being a coach, is just kind of being there to support, having that system of support. So yeah, that's what I like.
Beautiful, beautiful. So now you know if you need something that gives you the emotional support, Adrianna is
Yeah.
there for you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ari, I am so happy and thankful, so honored to have you here today.
Mhm. Yeah.
Would you like to share something else?
Something else. I'm trying to think, because we covered a lot right here. Something else. Yeah. So this is
About entrepreneurship, for example, what do you
Mhm.
need? Being an entrepreneur is not the same as being an employee. Are two completely different mindsets.
Mhm.
So we were talking a lot about mindset. This is the most difficult part to master. What is the most difficult thing for you
When I
in
come,
your entrepreneur journey?
the most difficult thing for me, okay, so here's what it comes down to, because to be a successful entrepreneur, it really requires like two main things. One of them is you must be willing to invest in yourself. So whether that be in, seminars, books, workshops, coaches, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. Another
Okay,
thing,
if that's difficult for you, don't be an entrepreneur.
yeah. So yeah, let me finish the thought. So it requires investment, and it also requires risk. So you must be willing to not just take any risk, but to take conscious risks and calculated risks, because you don't want to just risk everything and then lose it all. You need to be smart about it. So I guess the most difficult
So
thing.
what will be the difference because the conscious risk and the calculated risk?
Yeah, so you need to be mindful of which risks you're taking. Just don't go out there and be like super risky and take stupid risks. You have to actually, make sure that like, okay, can I actually get a return on investment with this risk that I'm taking? So in terms of me, because your question was what's the most difficult for me, because what I found, there's a lot of different things that you can invest in nowadays. Like there's so many courses, there's so many workshops and masterminds. So the most difficult one for me is like, okay, which one is the best to invest in? Because it's a little bit overwhelming. There's so many different things, and your time, your money, and your energy is limited. So the hardest one for me has been, what do I invest in next? Because like I told you, I only have so much time in the day, so much money, and so much energy, so I can't do it all.
So you love to invest in
I love
yourself.
I love to invest. So that's a message I have for other people. If you're considering like maybe buying like a program or a workshop or a seminar, try to see if you can get a return on investment with it, and don't be afraid to actually put your money towards that, because see it as an investment, because when you put the money in, then you're going to get something back. So maybe you'll learn something that can help you earn more money, or you'll come away with a good lesson. So see it as an investment. Don't necessarily see it as you spending, or wasting your money, I should say. So that's my message to people.
Thanks. That's so important. I love that message because I really see people suffering. They want to transform into something. That we need education, and education is transformation. But some people they figure out they can do everything on their own, and that is a drag because that helps them from achieving the things, from transforming, from creating the things that they really deserve. And they stay there frustrated without knowing how to achieve those results. And it's a shame. So invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one, yeah.
And if you are not willing to invest in yourself, don't be an entrepreneur. Go and look for a job.
Yeah, and that's another thing I want to say, that there's nothing wrong if you don't want to be an entrepreneur. Some people, their lifestyle is more so geared toward an employee, and there's nothing wrong with that. You got
I
to do
love that.
Yeah, you got to do what works best for you. Not everybody has the entrepreneurial mindset, and that's okay. Just because you're an
That's
entrepreneur, that doesn't make anyone better. If you're an
better
employee, that
or
doesn't make you any lower. That's just kind of the way like your lifestyle is, and that's fine. You're
right, 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 right. I
Mhm.
love your message. So don't judge and don't compare yourself to anyone
Mhm.
else. Thanks,
Do what makes you
Ariane.
happy. Do what makes you happy. Do what works for you.
Yes,
Mhm.
right. So thank you so much for taking the time to share with our audience about your project and how are you
Mhm.
helping people and impacting the world in a positive way. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. This was fun. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if anyone's watching, feel free to reach out to me or connect with me. You can just message me on Facebook, and yeah, I'll be happy to respond and connect.
Evolve your brand, evolve your soul.